Welcome to Joanna the Medium Show, broadcast on Ever Beyond Radio and through the Wolf Spirit Media Network, helping you transform from fear to freedom and reminding you of your true power. During this broadcast, we will discuss anything and everything connecting to owning your inner power and the essence of your spirit. We will hear inspiring stories from guests, as well as guidance from the spirit world. Jump on board for this incredible ride. Here's your host, Joanna.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back. This is going to be an exciting show. I decided to do this show a bit of impromptu. I've been trying to do it for a while, but I've been kind of pushing it aside. So tonight's show, it's all about you. It's all about you asking me questions about spirituality, different aspects of spirituality, your curiosity about spirit, empowerment. These are not questions pertaining to your personal life, as in these are not readings per se. So please keep your questions short and to the point, if you will, because I understand we have tons of callers and I have a lot of emails to get through. So this show is not scripted at all. I have a team with me. I actually feel like I'm high, and I don't know what it's like to be high. But I have a lot of spirit here with me, and I will probably be asked questions that I don't know answers to. So I will be completely relying on my team, and a lot of these questions will be new to, or answers will be new to me as well as to you. So let's see what happened, and let's roll. Before I take the first call, I would like to answer a question that I just received via email, and it's actually a subject that I have never heard before, so I have no connection to it, which makes it very interesting for me to ask spirit. And the question comes from Tina, and Tina says, I would like to know how to heal from a dark night of the soul. Is it a real condition, or is it different from grief, depression, or broken heart? I am unable to distinguish. So Tina, I have never heard of dark night of the soul. And the moment I read your email, I thought, okay, I'm going to ask my team, because this is fascinating for me to see what they're going to answer. So the answer that came back was this. Dark night of the soul is, in quotation marks, is referred to a detachment from a significant aspect one has known for a period of time that is or was of a part of one's identity. It is a process of letting go. It is a death, quote unquote, of an aspect of self. It's almost like a piece being chipped away, and it is now missing. So that is the answer directly from spirit. It was something that I was shown, and I felt it, and I hope that makes sense to you. So that's the first answer. I hope it makes sense to you. Okay, let's start with calls. Hello?
Oh, here comes our first one. Area code. And not quite connected. There we go. Area code 302. You with us yet? There we go. Area code 302. Good afternoon.
Hi, is this the live show?
Yes, it is. How are you? What is your name?
Good. My name is Nadja.
Hello, Nadja. How can I help you? What is your question, please?
My question is, I would like to know what you see for me in my career.
So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, these are not personal readings. These are readings that these are general questions about spirituality. So, unfortunately, I won't be able to answer that one for you. But if you go to my website and sign up for the newsletter, there are a few upcoming shows where there will be live readings. This is not a reading show, so I'm going to have to let you go. Okay, Nadja? Thank you for calling.
Okay.
So for those of you who are listening, just like I mentioned on my YouTube video and in a newsletter, these are not questions as far as your personal life. So these are not readings, personal readings. These are more general questions. You can also ask me questions about me and my path, but these are not readings. So just please keep that in mind. Okay, let's take the next caller.
So area code 203, you're online. I'm on I am.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. I had a question about how you can get into contact with Spirit in a deeper level to understand what you're supposed to be doing with your life. I do sometimes, I've heard from my own family members a couple of times, very, very small amount, but I need to find how I can get to a deeper level myself.
Okay, so that's a great question. Thank you. And I believe this question and the answer is going to help a lot of people. So I'm going to refer to my team here. Here's the answer. The aspect of knowing oneself relies on the ability to go deep within. The moment you allow yourself to tap into the aspect that is deep underneath your subconscious mind, you will allow yourself to connect with the very part of you that is your inner, which is your soul. So the way to connect to that part of you is various ways. One of the ways that seems to be more significant and the quote unquote the simplest is the process of meditation. So it is an aspect of going within oneself, quieting the mind, letting go of all the thoughts and the outside noise and become very quiet and aware of that inner aspect of you, which is many will call a soul. So the word soul, do not take it as a label. You can use whatever term you like, but basically it is the ability to tap to that aspect of you that lies beneath the logic, beneath the consciousness, beneath the thoughts of our everyday life. So that is basically the answer. Once you quiet down the noise, you will be able to much clearly perceive and receive the inner guidance that is coming from your soul, including what you would refer to as, quote unquote, your purpose. And just to clarify, everyone's purpose is to simply be and create.
Okay, thank you.
Whew, I hope you felt that. You're welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good night.
Good night.
Nice
Okay,
one.
let's go to the next caller.
Next
Wow.
caller, area code 256. Excellent one, that one.
Hello from Alabama. This is
Hello, darling.
Melissa.
Hello, Melissa.
Hello, Joanna.
What is your question?
I am
Hi.
so happy to talk to you. I watch your videos.
Likewise.
And I'm
Thank
a subscriber and love you.
Thank you so much.
I'm trying to figure out what I need to do next. What is my spiritual growth path? What is my pathway? What is my next step?
Okay, so just like I mentioned at the very first caller, these are not personal readings. So I'm going to rephrase your question so that it serves everyone who listens. Yes, and that way it'll help you as well. So what you are basically asking is, this is what my guide is saying. Your question is really, what is my purpose? That is what I'm understanding it as. And please understand that everybody's purpose is to be able to live and be happy. And although the simplicity of this may surprise many, many people, and yes, our lives do come with the quote unquote baggage from many past reincarnations where we have to work and rework some of the old energies. But please do not make the mistake of thinking and believing that there is only one particular path that awaits you in this lifetime, for there are many. And as long as you keep thinking that there's one particular life path that you should or should not be doing, you are robbing yourself of many valuable and happy experiences. So to put it in a different perspective, this is very much about you enjoying your life to the fullest, allowing yourself to tap into the aspect of you that makes you sing, that makes you happy, that makes you joyful every single time. And it is with that feeling that you will find that with each and every aspect of your being, you will find what makes you happy will be something worth following. That is what you will call your path is.
Thank you, Joanna, so much. So very much.
You're welcome.
For your guidance.
That was just my mouth talking. You're welcome.
You're wonderful. Thank you. You're fabulous.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling. That was a great question. Wow, these energies are incredible. I don't know if you guys can feel this, but I basically just flap my mouth and the energy just comes out. I wish I could let you know how this feels. It's actually incredible. My whole body is vibrating. Okay. So with that said, let's go into our next caller.
Well, we're just waiting for a caller. It's a most unusual moment. You can take maybe 2 breaths instead.
Okay, well, while we're waiting, I do have a lot of, do you feel that energy, or is it just I'm able to feel it on my end?
Oh, it's
I feel
bubbling
like,
up,
yeah. So let me just go through some of the questions that I received, and I received quite a few, so that will help while we are waiting. So just give me 1 second. So, the next question I have is, okay, it has to do, okay, so there's a question from Sophie. Sophie says, how does one help with decision-making process? And then her question is that she's had difficult time with indecisiveness ever since she was very young, and sometimes when she is overwhelmed, it's very difficult for her to make a choice. So I'm going to generalize this question, and basically what I'm going to say is that Sophie is asking about the difficulty when it comes to making decisions and often being overwhelmed, which makes one unable to clearly think and therefore make decisions. So I'm going to ask him for the answer. The fear of making the wrong choice is the prevalent energy that prevents one from making a decision one way or the other. The best way to deal with this is to step back and step away from the decision-making process and ask themselves a question: which way does my heart or my soul lead me? And although at some point this may not be the easiest thing to decipher, as many questions will be around difficult decisions and circumstances, the ability to step away from the decision will allow one to much more readily tap into their own wisdom or into their own well of wisdom in order to access what is the best decision for them at this particular time. What this is also referring to is lack of confidence. So anytime we have a lack of confidence, or anytime we deal with lack of confidence, we will more likely than not have challenges around making the decision, because we are really afraid of making the wrong choice. What is important here to understand that each choice offers the experiencer a different experience. So although some choices are very easy to distinguish what is right and what is wrong, some choices are not so easily distinguishable. With that said, understanding that sometimes in life it is about taking chances and taking the leap of faith. And although not every decision will allow one to take a leap of faith, because sometimes it will not warrant to do so, sometimes it does make a difference when one decides to just take a leap of faith in order to experience a brand new experience. I hope that was understood, because I just felt like I got lost in there somewhere. Does that make sense to anybody?
Yeah, we're just waiting for our next call to come back.
Okay, so I'm going to go through another question. Radio show question. And,
here we are.
Somebody.
Area code 434.
Gotcha.
Hello?
Hello.
I'm calling to ask a question. My question is, how do you distinguish between an empathic knowledge or a conscious knowledge?
Oh, very good question. Okay, let me just go back and ask. So what I'm being told is that what I'm hearing you say through my guide is, what your question is, how does one distinguish the difference between inner wisdom or inner guidance or intuitive guidance versus logic? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's correct. I mean, if if you feel something and you don't know whether it's your conscious self because of, you've got a lot of garbage in there that can interfere, or whether it's actually knowledge coming from your inner self that's the correct knowledge.
Perfect. So that's a great question. So again, he's showing me the word fear. A lot of the time we are driven by our fears, unfortunately, though fears do serve a purpose in our life. So not every fear doesn't mean that every fear is not warranted. Some fear is warranted because, let's say, you don't want to stand in front of a train to get hit. So that's pretty straightforward. So the difference is that the intuitive prompting or the intuitive message or your inner guidance is like a whisper. It comes to you all of a sudden, most of the time. It has a very etheric tone to it, if that makes any sense, and it appears to you seemingly out of nowhere. A thought or a fear or a thought that you make is coming from your critical thinking that is based with fear will have more of an end, a beginning and an end. So it will feel much stiffer. It will feel much more, he says metallic, although I don't know how to distinguish that. It'll feel very rigid, and it will feel almost like a train is coming. It has a very linear feel to it. So if you compare the two, and he's saying, if you can remember a time when you had an intuitive feeling, and at this point you would know what that is because looking back you would know. And if you could remember what that felt like, you would be able to distinguish the next time situation like that arises. But he does say that an intuitive thought more often than not feels like a whisper. It is very subtle, and it just ping appears to you. Oftentimes, if we are able to come away from a decision, if you are looking at a decision, oftentimes it'll appear when we are not thinking about it, but sometimes that's not possible. So sometimes you're with somebody, for example, he's giving me an example. You're with somebody, you're standing, and you have this intuitive feel, and then your head goes, well, I wonder if he's lying, and you're not sure whether that's your head or whether that's your intuition. What he's saying here is that the location from which the inner guidance stems from will often give you an idea of whether it's your logic, fear, or whether it is intuitively based. And he's saying the gut feel, and I guess that's why we often say the gut feel. So if you are able to observe at the moment where the thought or the feeling is coming from, more likely than not, your logic-based or fear-based thought will be connected more so to your head or the upper body, like neck and up, than to the lower body or as in gut. So that, he says not always, but more often than not. But more than anything, it's the feel to it. The intuitive feeling is very soft, it's very whispery, and a fear-based feeling, it's very rough, and it's linear. It has a linear feel to it. I hope I'm able to convey that. It's sometimes it's very difficult to convey what it is that I see and feel.
Is it the difference between instantaneous thought and a solid question, like a solid sentence? Like that would be more mechanical to me if it was a sentence.
Yes.
Versus instantaneous knowledge.
Yes. So the way when you're talking to me, one is shown to me as a ping, almost like dust out of nowhere, fairy dust out of nowhere, and one is like a linear train.
Okay, I think
Are you
I
able
understand.
Can you? Yeah, I think that's the easiest way to kind of grasp that. For you understand, but for those who may not, intuitive prompting is just that inner knowing. It's not you're not thinking it. It's another way he's saying it, it's like it's deep within your body versus a thought. A thought is much more shallow, and I don't mean it as a judgment, but it has a much more of a shallow feel to it, whereas an intuition is this knowing. It's within your whole body.
I gotcha. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's a great question. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling.
And now,
okay,
area code 904. Hello, you're on the air with Joanna the Medium.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Joanna. My name is Debbie. How
Hello,
you doing?
Debbie. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I have a question. I don't think this is personal or not.
Okay.
I just wanted to know if you know if I'm on the right path in my life.
That is a personal question, but I'm going to flip it so to make it more general. So let me just ask my guide how to do this.
Okay.
Okay, so basically he's saying, how does anyone know they're on the right path? Okay, so that's a great question because I believe many people, well, I know many people struggle with this because I deal with it every single day. So it is important to understand that there is no such thing as one particular path. And I feel many people get stuck in feeling or thinking or believing that there is this one particular path that they need to follow or else. That isn't the case. What path you may be following at age 9, for example, will be very different and vastly different than a path you are meant to follow at the age of 37. So obviously that's pretty straightforward. But the way to distinguish or to actually be in tune or to know whether you are on the right path at any particular moment or not is to feel the energy of where you're at with what you are doing. So what I was talking about as one of the first callers was asking, it's the ability to go within and quiet the noise of the everyday mind and the everyday chatter and go deep within and feel the aspect of you that is following a certain path. And what's being said here is that when you go deep within with the idea of what path you are on right now, you will very clearly be able to distinguish whether it feels right to you or not. So it's not about A, B, C, or D. It's about, does it feel like you are aligned, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, I feel like I am, and I actually am. I'm kind of like quite in tune as far as spiritually goes with spirit.
Okay, so what he's saying here is when anybody feels that they're on the right path, circumstances outside of you may not be able to give you feedback that is such the case. In those circumstances, it is crucially important for one to trust. For when you trust, you can keep moving in that direction, which then eventually will show you outside of you through the mechanism of feedback that yes, in fact, you are on the right path. And what he's showing me here is that many people are now making different choices in order to change their path or they're in a space where they're feeling that wherever they have been for however long is no longer quote unquote fitting or feeling right. It is at that moment that one needs to be able to fully trust in the ability to know that their inner body or inner soul knows the direction they're going to, but for a little while, the outside world will not be able to give you the feedback to make you feel comfortable that such is the case. And that will happen most of the time for people who are changing paths and directions in whatever area of life they're going to. Some things come to us sooner, as in giving us feedback that we're on the right track, but particularly when it comes to a deep spiritual aspect, and I don't mean religious, when all of a sudden, example is being given, you're in a corporate world and then something just comes over you and you just know with every fiber of your being, you're not supposed to be there. And then all of a sudden, there's a couple of things that happen. One, there is excitement that there's something new, but at the same time, there is this fear where it's like, oh crap, now what? Right?
Yeah. So, kind of like
and a lot of people are going through this. So trusting that inner voice and trusting its wisdom and allowing that wisdom to guide you often feels like you have blinders on and you cannot see. That, for the most part, is actually very correct, because what's happening is as we go through the process of change, our very vibration changes its frequency. As our vibration changes its frequency, we actually do look and feel like we cannot see because we haven't gotten used to the new frequency yet. So we are in this middle. The old is leaving, the new hasn't come yet, and we're in this middle ground or the no man's land. That's when it's really, really important to trust with every fiber of your being that you stay the course no matter what. Of course, if you can, and I would say majority of people can, it is not comfortable and it is scary many times because you have to let go of the control of knowing of what's next.
Exactly. See, yeah, my mom's going through cancer right now, and I've been a little afraid of what's coming.
You have no control over that. You have no control over that. What you have to do is, and anybody, whenever we're faced with anything, whether it's unfortunately like your mom, and I'm very sorry, or whether it's with a job loss or anything that is uncomfortable, change of any kind, I don't care how small it is, carries with it the energy of feeling discomfort. The larger the change, the bigger the discomfort. Discomfort is nothing more than us not being comfortable or familiar with the energy that surrounds us and where we're going. So whether you buy a new pair of shoes and you have to break them in, to whether you lose a job and you have to just feel it out and go with and see what happens, there is an aspect of needing to surrender. For when we surrender, we don't give up. That's completely different. Yeah. Surrender means we let go of the control of the oars, so to speak, because the damn river knows where it's going.
Okay. I really appreciate this a lot. It makes a lot of sense.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you, Joanna.
Thank you so much for calling. You're welcome. Have a great night.
Okay.
Bye. All right. Have we got a caller?
It takes a moment, but you just have to, take a breath, and I'll tell you, there'll be a caller. There will be callers. I mean, we haven't had to wait more than 20 seconds for one of them yet. So how are you doing? We're about halfway through. Do you need to take a break? I'll put some music on.
No, I'm great. This is fantastic. When I have this energy, I'm like, I can go nonstop.
Okay, here comes the unknown phone number. Unknown phone number. You're on the air.
Hello, unknown. How can we help you?
Hi, Joanna.
Hi.
Here taking the questions today.
Yes. What's your question?
My name is Marie, and I relocated to another state, and I was just wondering if the guy that I'm talking to from work, if it's going to go anywhere.
Okay, this is like I mentioned at the beginning of the show. These are not readings, personal readings. So I'm going to have to let you go, sweetheart. Okay.
Okay.
There will be other shows in the next few weeks actually, that will be personal readings. This is not personal readings. This is general questions.
Okay. Area code 701.
Yes. Hello.
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 Hello. What is your name and what's your question?
This is Max Silver.
Oh my God. I knew it was going to be you. I knew it was going to be you.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I thought I would slip in.
No, there's no such thing.
Kidding.
You can't get past me. What's your question?
I would like to know if there are still mystery schools taking place on the location of the pyramid area in Egypt, like where they were built on the older site, but yet in a higher dimension, the new location temples are there and schools.
Wow. You're digging into my fascination here, Egypt. Okay, let's see what we've got here. The school exists in many forms, many of which you will have no awareness of. That doesn't mean, however, they do not exist. What you're referring to is a functional and fundamental entity that allows one to come and practice an aspect in a physical world. Is that what you mean, Max?
Oh, yes.
By the way, that wasn't me. That was just my mouth talking. I don't know who's talking to me. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if it's thought. But anyway, to
I have
go
seen,
further,
or I have heard comments of people seeing spirit-like individuals walk out of those doors that have been sealed up and then disappear. So that was the reason for my question. I thought maybe on another dimension they are still teaching.
So I just love this because he actually answered the question without answering the question. He answered it.
Well, I'm sorry. I have a bad connection here. I can only hear a few things.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to go back because what he said was that there are many schools that exist, many of which are not on the, you're not aware of, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist. So the simple answer was yes, but he actually expanded on this a little bit. So, they apparently do exist in the spirit world, and there are many, what?
Level?
No. He's saying there are many famous teachers who are aware of this. That are still that are still alive. Okay, I'm tapping into something that's completely unbeknownst to me. Okay, why am I being given the word Sekhmet?
Segment?
Sekhmet. Yes, Sekhmet.
Oh, yeah. A god, an Egyptian god.
Okay.
Sekhmet.
Does that
S-E-K-M-E-T.
Does that somehow connect to what you were just asking?
I will find out as soon as I start to research what that god's function was.
Oh boy.
There's a temple. Oh, I know. There's a temple that was dedicated to the god Sekhmet. So that would be one temple location that I ask about, that they are doing that at this time.
Warrior goddess, as well as goddess of healing. She is depicted as a lioness, the fiercest hunter known to the Egyptians.
I am like buzzing right now. I'm vibrating. She's holding this humongous ankh, A-N-K-H.
Correct.
Which is a symbol of, I believe, it's up to
immortality.
Thank you. Thank you. He's asking if there's anything else you wish to know.
Well, there's so many things, but I'll hold that until we have our private session.
Oh my gosh, no kidding. I think you just tickled my fancy here. My God, I'm sweating right now. I love this stuff. I have a fascination with ancient Egypt.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope to hear from you soon. And I'm waiting for that email, by the way, which you know what it's about, right?
Oh, well then I'll get it put together.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Talk to
Bye-bye.
you soon. Bye. Wow. So when I get information like this, and I've done a few shows where a host would ask me information about subjects I had no clue about, like World War I or World War II. And I had this being with me who would just answer questions. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was a little bit nervous because I was giving information. I had no clue what I was talking about. And some of that information was later verified and came back to me as apparently being true. I don't know. But just so you know, I'm in a position where I offer my mouth and my body to a spirit to give information, yet I do not, I don't know what's coming. Let's just put it that way. All I know is that they're beings of love and light. That's all I know because they feel phenomenal, and that's all I work with. But this is very interesting. Okay, let's go to the next caller.
847, you're on the air.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What's your name and what is your question? It's you.
Hi, my name is Barbara.
Hello, Barbara.
Hi,
what
Joanna. I'm trying to figure out how to word this correctly so it would apply to all.
That's okay. He'll probably tell you anyway. Just spit it out and I'll flip it.
I have been seeing hawks and birds all over, primarily hawks, which take my breath away when you look at just their wingspan. Mm-hmm. I am wondering, is that an animal totem? Is that a message that they bring to somebody? Is it something I'm supposed to be paying attention to?
So I'm going to flip the question so that it serves you and everybody listening. What you are attempting to ask is the spirit animal, in your case, hawk, does it serve a purpose and does it have a specific meaning to you? So throughout our lives, we will be presented with different animals that we will either find fascinating. These animals will somehow appear to us through visions, images, dreams, symbols, songs, what have you. What these are symbols or symbolic of energies that we are either attracting at any given moment or are attributing aspects of those particular symbols with ourselves. So I'm going to ask him to say it in English.
I'm sorry?
I'm just going to ask him to say it in English because
Oh, okay.
If you understood it, great. My brain is having a party here, not figuring what to do here. He says that each one of us has an aspect of an animal that we carry within ourselves. And I'm going, whoa, wait a minute. And he says, he's letting me know that, yes, that is true, because we are everything. And just because we choose to express ourselves in this physical dimension as this particular entity does not mean we are not everything, for we are all ones. But going back to your question and being more specific, the hawk in your case represents an aspect of you that is being born. So it would be wise for you at this time to look at the description of what such represents in order to identify an aspect of you with this particular symbol and see how it feels.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I can definitely see how we are all connected and we are one. Mm-hmm. And right when you said that, I thought, okay, maybe that is part of me that's trying to tell me something.
You got it, girl. You got it. Yeah. So for those of us, thank you, great question. But for those who are listening, animal totem, TOTEM, and I have had many through my lifetime, and I have several that I work with right now, and they just appear in my visions or they appear in my meditations. And every time I'm presented with one that I'm not familiar with, I will look it up and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It is so dead on. So if any of you those of you who are listening, if you are fascinated by certain animals or if certain symbolism of an animal is attracted to you or you are attracted to it. And it doesn't have to be four-legged. It could be a snake. Snake is actually a transformative energy, and it's phenomenally powerful. So these are apparently aspects of ourselves that we can identify with or allow ourselves to be or come to surface. Look up the animal totem meaning and see how those animals feel with you and what they represent. Great question.
Area code 908. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello. What is your name and what is your question?
Name is Ken.
Hello, Ken.
And I'm from New Jersey in the USA.
Yay.
Kind of interesting question.
Why do I want to say happy birthday? Whose birthday is around you or just passed?
My oldest son's coming up.
Okay. Happy birthday. I don't know who's telling this to me, but happy birthday to him.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh, boy. Okay.
This is for the higher self, if possible. Yes. Which tree of life is correct to go up the tree of life, okay, the real tree of life? Is it the Christ code or Christ code, which is the Kithara 12-point grid, or is it the Metatronic tree of life, the 10-point grid, which is what has been in Egypt, just about every country? They have the flower of life and then the tree of life. Mm-hmm. That has 8 points. The other one has 12. Mm-hmm. And 12 is a very important number when you come to spirituality. So I'm not sure which is right.
I'm just listening. Just give me one moment, please.
Oh, sure.
So what I'm feeling here, this is interesting because it's not through speaking. What I'm feeling here is that the one that you describe with the number 12 is the most closely related to the being that we are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means. I'm just going to relay the information. Having said that, the word which correctness defeats the purpose here. For the word correct or not correct is really meaningless when you talk about these things, because they're all really they're all correct because they encompass each other. And what he's showing me is that the 10 or the 8 stems from the 12 and the other one stems from that. And it's almost like he's showing me like a waterfall. And he's showing me this as being no separation, whereas your question, which one is correct and which one I should follow, creates a separation. And that isn't a judgment. It's just how he's showing it to me. Does this make any sense to you? Because I'm fumbling with words because I have zero knowledge on this. So I have no filters on that. So I have zero knowledge.
Yeah, it's how to connect to the life grid that goes up, okay, up to the many, many dimensions. And the Cathara grid seems to connect. It makes more sense than the other one.
Is that the one with 12?
That's the one with 12, yeah.
Okay. What he's showing me is that although the word correct or the correctness of the word seems to be invalidating to the aspect of what it represents, but with terminology that we have now, all the other ones that you have mentioned are predecessors, if you will, of knowledge and awareness to the one that you seem to be want to follow at this time.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. I appreciate it. I didn't know whether to put some of this in there, because it says that the one with the 8, you can't ascend up. You have to keep coming back here again and again and again. So that's why I asked the question.
It's a process of evolution is what I'm hearing. So the 8 was acceptable and necessary at a particular time of one's existence, but that time has now long passed.
For what, the 8 or the 12?
The 8. The 8 is a predecessor of the 12. So what he's showing me, and this is not so much with words as it is with the feeling that I'm getting, is that we have now, quote unquote, risen to the awareness where our awareness is enough to be able to connect with the 12th point. Or whatever it's called, because I don't have it in my dictionary. So it's not a matter of correctness, it's a matter of evolution.
Right. So you can go to the Eka and go up to the next level.
It's a process of evolution. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. I sure appreciate your answer.
Of course. And whoever he is, they're actually calling themselves as collective consciousness, but there is one being connected to this, apparently. His name is Thoth, T-O-T-H. Ancient, I believe, Egyptian mythology, if you look him up, you'll...
That's how you say it. Yes. Because I studied a tremendous amount on the regular flower of life that has the 8, okay? And I said, when I saw the other one, I said, oh, my goodness, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a chance to get to my higher self to ask those questions, but it just felt right. And I said, okay, I'm listening to your program, and I said, hey, let's call in and find out,
Exactly.
Never heard.
And thank you for asking that question, because this is material that I have no knowledge of. So I'm completely new to this. I'm hearing this for the first time.
I know both, and I know she said, you know.
Perfect. Which you can appreciate the
thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Have a good day.
And happy birthday to your son. You too.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
Okay. There's Toth again. Say hello for me. Area code 908 is online with us. Oh, it's not online with us. In that case, let's take them out. And area code 202, you can mute your microphone, mute your radio, please, and join us on the call. This is Joanna, the medium, on Wolf Spirit Radio. You're live on the air.
Hello, what's your name and what's your question? Hi.
Hi. My question was about developing your spiritual gifts. If you feel led to any particular gift, how do you develop that when you don't have any real
prior knowledge
experience with it?
Prior knowledge. Okay. So thank you for asking that question, because it's a question that has been asked of me many times, and this way many people can listen not only now but also when I post it on my YouTube. Okay, so let me just refer to my team. I don't want to put my own spin on this. When one is drawn to an aspect of themselves that makes them feel excitement, it would prove to be beneficial to trust the feeling and therefore follow it. So how does one develop it? Number one, it's being shown to me as tentacles. Now don't freak out. The vision I have is very beautiful, but it's being shown to me as an octopus all of a sudden that spreads her tentacles in all different directions, and she's trying to feel her environment, quote unquote, for the prey. In your case, the prey is not a bug or a fish. It is something that is a point of interest. So what is being said here is that when one allows themselves to be excited about something that is new, trust and follow that feeling, and the universe will provide you with opportunities, people, circumstances, and material that will allow you to expand those gifts. So as you follow that excitement, you will then be drawn, or you will consequently be attracting people and circumstances and books and other things to be able to expand on what you are feeling excited about. But he's saying this doesn't apply just to psychic gifts. This applies to anything in life. We just seem to have this connection or this attachment or this label. How do I develop my psychic gifts? And what he says, it's no different than how do you become good at a computer? You become connected to it. You find the liking for it. You get excited about it. And then information will become readily available to you. It's no different.
Okay.
Does that help? Does that help?
Yeah, it does.
The biggest thing with you and anybody when it comes to developing psychic gifts, and I want to repeat this 10,000 times, we all have them. Every single human being has them. Just because some people are not connected to it or don't find interest in it does not mean they're devoid of it. Every single individual has the ability to take those skills from within them and develop them. Some people are born to choose to develop the skills in a grander scale. And some people decide to express their individuality by being a skilled practitioner as a dentist, for example. No different. So for those people who are interested in, or you get to a point where you start being interested and fascinated, trust is the biggest component, because what we do when it comes to things like spiritual gifts, we have this thing called doubt. I mean, we doubt a lot of things, but especially when it comes to spiritual gifts. And the reason for it is because he says we have been fed, through millennia that we are not worthy of having something that is extraordinary. Mm-hmm. And that is absolutely not true, because we all have it. Right?
Okay.
So trusting that you have the ability to develop it, because knowing that is innately a part of you, it wasn't something that was given, it wasn't something that will be taken away, it is something that is inherently yours, and you are just choosing to develop it at this time. So trusting that it's yours and that you're not crazy will greatly help you in developing and therefore creating the excitement for it, which then will attract people, opportunities, and resources to you to help you explore more. Does that help?
It does help. Yeah, a whole lot.
Yeah.
Great.
That was a very eloquent answer. Thank you, whoever you are. Very good. And good luck with whatever you're doing. By the way, I don't know what your gifts are. You haven't told me, but you still there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm still here. Yeah.
I was just going to say, you haven't told me what your gift is. I don't want to know, but they're drawing me your attention to your hands. So I hope that makes sense to you. Yes. Okay.
Yes, it does. Exactly.
Best of luck.
Okay.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. Okay. And we can go to our next caller.
Okay, probably, maybe two more to do. This is 813. You're on the air with Joanna the Medium.
Hello, Joanna. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course. What is your question, darling?
I am trying to figure out if my guides are reaching out to me through numerology and in my dreams, or if this is just me thinking that that's what's going on. A lot of things have been coming in. I've been feeling a little more intuitive, but I think I'm blocking myself.
Just stop right there. Because, and I'm not stopping because I'm being B-I-T-C-H, but I already have the answer for you.
Okay.
The moment you said, are my guides, he said, all the time. So yes, I'm going to generalize this question, and I'm going to ask it in this way. Do guides want our attention, or are we getting, what's the question? Do we connect with our guides, or are our guides trying to connect with us? The answer is all the time for majority of cases. Okay. In some cases, I'm being told that when a spirit decides to reincarnate, they make a very, solid decision or a very conscious decision not to have a close proximity to their spiritual guides for the purpose of their own evolution in a particular body. However, that does not mean that this person does not have spiritual guidance. It simply means that the guidance is further, if you will, away in order for the person not to be able to perceive it as easily. That is not the case in most cases, because most people choose to have some flashlight rather than no flashlight. So when we see different numbers, so one of the ways that guides are communicating with us, and whether it be angels, whether it be guides, whether it be loved ones, I'm putting them all in one group, although they're all individual entities. There's many various ways. Number one, it's intuition, heightened intuition, feeling like intuition is becoming much more prominent and you are able to hear it much more prominent. Seeing numbers, that seems to be the one that has been very quote unquote popular because it works over the last several decades. So seeing numbers, repeating numbers, particularly if they often seem to be the same, like 222, 333, 111, it always starts with 111 or 1111. That is guides trying to get your attention. Anything that is connected to us emotionally, or anything that we have an emotional connection to, for example, having a favorite song from when we were 7 come up on the radio out of the blue and we're 45, and that brings a certain feeling and emotion, a certain memory, and that happening over a period of time, but it's consistent, that's spirit trying to get your attention. So in your case, yes, they're trying to get your attention, and they will do it in many different ways. Numerology, which we mentioned, hearing, feeling, people may come up to you and randomly will say something, a message, and you don't even know the person. That is a spirit trying to get a hold of you. You'll be standing in a lineup and somebody will tap you on the shoulder and they'll say something that you have been looking for answer for weeks, and that will be your answer. So Spirit will choose different people in order to convey a message. I don't know the mechanics of it. It's not enough time through the show to do this. But Spirit connects to us or tries to connect to us in many, many different ways. I'm seeing butterflies. I'm seeing pennies. I am seeing certain letters. I'm seeing even symbols in the sky. So the messages are as limited or as unlimited as our belief system will allow them to be. So if we feel, no, that's my head, they will continue to do so, but the idea of you that it's your head will prevent you from connecting with them because you're cutting yourself off. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, I'm not saying that every single sign in the world one should take as a sign or a symbol. That would actually be foolish. And that my guide actually says, no, do not do that because that's foolish. You want to look at repeatable patterns. When you see repeatable patterns of any formation, whether it be songs, smells, numbers, letters, visions, gazillion things, when you see repeatable patterns, chances are very high that Spirit is trying to connect with you. So that's with anybody.
Make sense of it.
Trust. So when you keep getting signs and eventually, it's day 55 and they keep dropping frickin' pennies on your floor, then you close your eyes and you say, okay, I see you. What is it that you're trying to tell me? And then listen to the inner voice. And as I talked earlier, the inner voice is very subtle, is like a whisper. The logic is, no, don't listen to it. It's stupid. You're crazy. That is not intuition. Because Spirit will more often than not want to get your attention through intuition and speaks to you through intuition. I hope that helps.
Yeah.
I could go on and on for a day about this, but that's just a very short.
Well, I've been talking to myself a little more, but in the sense that I feel like I'm talking to my guys, but it gets to that point where it's like, okay, wait, are you losing it? So I'm just trying to get clarity.
That's your ego. And that's quite normal. And I've been doing this for 15 years and I still say it. So it's very normal. Our mind will just, meditation is miracle. And I've just recently started to meditate for myself versus, because it's functional. So, having that inner peace and that inner guidance will allow you to hear it much more because meditation really is about quieting the noise. When the outside noise and the brain quiets from all the gazillion things that we have told ourselves or have been told, when that quiets down and goes shh, you're able to hear the inner voice in the stillness of everything else.
Okay.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
I hope that was helpful.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And why am I seeing big money, like somebody's waving money in front of your nose? Jesus.
Someone's waving money in front of me?
Yes.
I had a job offer today and I feel like I'm still underpaid. I feel like they're offering less. Yes, and I want to ask for more, but I don't know how to release that fear of asking for more.
Well, somebody's waving money right at your nose, and literally, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? So do not be afraid to ask for what you are worth.
Okay.
And that's your fear. That's chakra 1 and 2. Okay?
Chakra 1 and 2. Okay.
Thank you. Own it, girl. Come on. You're welcome, sweetheart. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye. You're welcome. I think we're done, guys.
I think we're done.
Quick.
Yeah.
Wow, that was fantastic. That was very quick. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I love doing these kinds of things because I'm completely unprepared and I'm just literally at mercy of what my crew says, and I trust them with my life. I literally do, more than any human being alive. So I hope you like it. Maybe actually what I'll do is I'll do more of those shows and I'll just structure them differently. And so these will be posted on YouTube. You can listen to it at any time. And if there's anything else you would like me to talk about or you would like to ask Spirit, obviously you can email that to me and we will go from there. Okay? Next show is in 2 weeks. I will be away. I will be not able to do it, so it'll be a rerun show. I will rerun this show, but the week after that, I believe I have someone who's coming in to do readings. So another exciting shows. I have several shows that are scheduled. Shows. So thank you so much again, and talk to you soon, guys. Bye.